All right, let's do a video on a gun that you don't see a whole lot of. And definitely there's no videos of these guys on YouTube whatsoever. I know that for a fact because this is very recent. What we're doing a video on the Tom Bostic and Tommybuilt Tactical TG36, not the T36 as a lot of videos are out there are currently about. So, TG36, let's get this out of the way. The TG36 is a product that was an outcome of an ATF ruling that the old T36 receivers were machine guns because they had to, they were able to bang in a full auto bullet carrier and get it to fire 3 rounds, or at least that's how the story goes. Do I agree with it? Obviously, absolutely not. That sounds ludicrous. That sounds like some government bullshit trying to pin some dude. That being said, we're going to look at the positives of this, and I'll go through the positives of this. There are sear blocks in here now, and if we get the chance to pop this open, you'll see 2 little pegs in there. It kind of looks weird, but I'm assuming that's the sear blocks. With that being said, we're going to look at the positives of this, like I was saying. Since the T36 receivers were put out in, I think it was like 2017, 2018 time frame, up until now, there's been a lot of quality of life upgrades for the receivers from the T36 standard to the TG36 standard. The one readily identifiable for me that I felt is underneath the handguard here by the trunnion, and especially up top here underneath the charging handle, these bits of plastic. They have been reinforced to a point where I can't flex it by pushing it down anymore. That used to be a problem I had with the old receivers. In general, also the entire receiver just seems, I don't know, a little bit more stiff, I guess, with the way it would be the way I would describe it. It feels heftier. Definitely more of quality. All the polymer still kind of feels like it used to be. There's a little bit more bumps and stuff. But yeah, so TG36, like I said, he had 3 years to figure out the quality of life upgrades for this. They're kind of there. So we'll talk about monies and stuff afterwards. So let's start at the front, go to the back, flip it around, go from the back to the front, kind of thing. So this started out life as a T36 KER. For those of you who don't know, it's essentially this gun with a full 16-inch barrel or a 16.5-inch barrel and the A2 compensator at the end. In my opinion, probably the worst freaking look for a G36 ever. I get it. It was meant for people to be able to switch out muzzle devices and put their silencers on there and, whatever. In my opinion, this is mine. This is a holy grail gun for me. Don't freaking bastardize the look with your freaking long barrels and your shit, right? So, with that being said, like I said, this started out as a KER with the 16-inch barrel and the A2 compensator. Tom Bostic has cut this down for me to, I think it was like 13 or 13 somethings, and pinned and welded this specific flash hider on there to meet the 16.5-inch length requirement for the G36Ks. This is not the G36 extended flash hider that you can find on HK Parts. I think that one's about 5 inches long, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is the HK33K and G3K flash hider, which is the same general style, but it's shorter. It's shorter by almost half an inch. So if you're going to do it this way. Like you can see, there's there's a little bit of barrel extended, but it's not enough to kind of ruin the look of the G36K. So G36K, in my opinion, is the perfect format for the G36. The C's too short, so you're gonna have to either get that as a pistol or weld on this giant muzzle device that looks stupid. The G36E has a 19-inch barrel. and is almost too long for, I don't know, general purpose use or whatever you want to call it. So it's almost too long. So this is almost the perfect length in my opinion. Going to the handguards, when you buy your TG36, it will come with 3 rail sections, 2 of these short ones on the side, one kind of long one that goes all the way back to here on the bottom. And yeah, there is a filler piece if you want to just use the hand stop without the rail on the bottom. That's what I've elected to do because, yeah, going back to aesthetics and looks, this looks the best to me. This is a piston operated firearm. If you've ever seen what an HK416 looks like, this is kind of what an HK416 looks like. Yeah, why not? While we're at it, let's pop it off and give a look. See, why not? So, as you can see there, pin gas block, that's not coming off. There's your piston rod, spring, and the piston cup resides in here. It is a vented gas block, so that's why it tells you got to use 5.56 ammunition. If it's under pressure, it won't be strong enough to kick all this shit back. So use good ammunition, and we'll go from there. Also, single heat shield inside the handguard. So yeah, pretty nice for not burning your hands, I would say. All right, let's see if we can't get this off. I'll get this back on one hand. Sorry. There we go. Okay. What an ordeal that was. Okay, so everything is held together with these kind of push pins. Pretty cool. Makes field stripping extremely easy. Okay. The charging handle is reciprocating. It's on top here. It's an inline charging handle. It'll flip that way, or it'll flip this way. Kind of nice. You can flip it and push it in. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to balance one here. You can push it in. It'll kind of act like forward assist. For whatever reason, this side doesn't work that great, but if I flip it to the other side, it works fine. So if you really need a forward assist, feel free, I guess. I don't feel like it's very necessary. This is the top of the bolt carrier, and it does reciprocate, like I said. So keep your hands clear of this whole section up here when you're shooting. Even though I don't I'd be very surprised why you would ever stick your hands in here while you're firing the weapon, but whatever. The normal TG36s will come with a G36C style carry handle that has the Picatinny rail on top, little iron sight on the back, little iron sight up front. Ask my dog. Is it great quality? Not really. The rear sight really sucks. Front sight's polymer, and the blade is super huge, so it doesn't really work half the time anyways. The rail itself is made of plastic and had a tendency of kind of collapsing in on itself. Will it hold zero? Probably. Would I trust it? Nah, probably not. I've elected to go with a Hensoldt dual optic. I've done another video of this on my channel. If you want to watch it, please do, to get more in-depth details about this. Essentially 3 power on the bottom and red dot on the top. This was high tech back in 1990. It is absolutely outdated now. There's no question about it. Is it worth a lot of money that people ask for it? No, absolutely not. But does it complete the look? Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. Moving down from there, like I said, the receiver is the important part. This is the control item, and this is what the TG36 upgrade specifically addresses, is this whole receiver bit. Magwell's interchangeable. This one is set up for normal G36 magazines. You can get ones made by Spur and made by a few other companies that will take AR-15 magazines. Obviously you won't be able to use this flapper because AR-15 magazines don't use a flapper, but the option is there. It's very nice to have the options of using the readily available magazines that you have. So it's probably one of the greatest parts about this firearm, honestly, is the modularity of all. You know, this can be modular, handguards can be changed, magwells can be changed. It's wonderful. Talking about controls, down below here we have an AK type flapper release. This one's pretty much on the small side. You can barely get enough finger in there to get it going. They do make larger ones. There's one that extends out to about here, and then it has ears that go back along the trigger guard, kind of along the same lines as the old HK-XM8. Wonderful magazine release. Getting this pin out under here is an absolute pain in the ass. Getting it all back together equally is a absolute pain in the ass. So if you pick one and you like it, stick with it. Otherwise, if you were like me on the old receiver and I was switching it back and forth, it was an absolute pain if you didn't have a slave pin to get this going. All right, talking about other controls. We got a button here. This is for your bolt hold open only. This will not release the bolt. There's no like slapping the receiver like there is on an AR-15. This is only hold open, and then you have to manually use the charging handle to get it back into battery. The T36s that Tom Bostic sends out normally come with something like this. Essentially, if we lined it over, you know, that's where the bolt release interfaces with the magazine, and this little ledge here more or less acts like a bad lever on the downstroke. Does it work great? Yes, absolutely. This works fantastic. Is it, you know, to me, is it authentic to the G36 look? No, not really. So that's why it's replaced. Yeah. Plus, this is a polymer button, so a little bit nicer. Trigger group, exceptionally not great. It's actually very mediocre for what it is. This is not Tom Bostic's fault. If anybody's fault, it's the freaking German government, because they had such stringent, it had such stringent standards on drop testing that, you know, the G3 was the same way. This is the same way. They have extremely heavy triggers, so that way if you drop it, it doesn't accidentally discharge. That being said, the backside of that is it makes the gun's trigger like fucking garbage. That being said, is it serviceable? Absolutely. You know, no question about it. Ambidextrous fire selector. It's on both sides. This does ship with an SEF lower. If you want the cool pictograms and all that other stuff, you will have to buy that separately and send it to Tommybuilt to get fitted, because the G36 fire control groups will not organically fit a TG36. As far as I'm aware. Take that with a grain of salt. That being said, it does click into all three positions, but it is not full auto. This is not a full auto gun. It'll only do safe, semi, and semi again. So it's cool for aesthetics, but there's no chance this will ever go full auto. I don't think you can even, you know, honestly, with how mediocre this trigger is, I doubt you'll even shoot enough to go full semi. So it is what it is. But nevertheless, always loved HK's fire selectors. Very crisp. There's no mush. Unlike, you know, AR-15 selectors are kind of mushy sometimes. This is nice, crisp, goes all the way through. HK sling loop in the back. I used to use this. I don't use this anymore. I recommend you don't, because otherwise you're going to scratch the shit out of your receivers, and that's not good. All right, let's go to the back. G36K stock. Only two stock lengths really. The G36K and the G36 C stocks. The C stocks are just ever so slightly shorter, and they're kind of they're indented instead of full length, kind of like this one is. That's how a quick indicator if you have a full length stock or a short stock. Full length stock, no bells and whistles. There's no adjustment. There's no nothing. It's literally, it's fixed or folds to the right. That's it. The pinholes at the bottom here are for your takedown pins. You can stick them there. That way you'll never lose them. Pretty awesome. Big old button here. Hit that. This will swing over to the side, and this will latch onto the fired case deflector there. Talking about the other side of the T30 or the TG36, sorry. On the other side, it's it's not too spectacular. It's not too indifferent from the other side. Same SEF selector on this side. Ejection ports on this side, of course, and it's moderately big, I guess. 5.56 never has an issue with getting out of there, so we're good. Markings on this side, warning, Tommybuilt Tactical, and made in the good old US of A. USA made product. On this side, of course, you have the opposite side rail. Like I said, you get 3, so pretty cool. And yeah. So, video's running kind of long and I've been rambling, so let's answer the questions I've seen most prevalent on the internet. One is a TG36 worth it? The platform itself, absolutely, depending on who you are as an audience. What I mean by that is if you grew up playing Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, COD, all of that, and this was in there, I guarantee you this was at least a looker of sorts. This is for most people that are big into one, video games, and then 2, HK. This is the holy grail gun because it looks like a space blaster to some people. It is a holy grail gun for me, not only because my entire childhood growing up, I've wanted this literally since I was 11 or 12. The holy grail gun part of this too is you literally cannot buy these in any other format outside of the TG36s. SL8s are discontinued, and unless you find an SL8 and send it to them for the rear stub conversion and all that, which mind you costs upwards of $5 to $6 grand, but you'll definitely have a true HK at that point in time. Outside of that, this is your only option outside of for a centerfire cartridge G36. If you really want to get the 22, that's an option too, although I understand that's been discontinued also. Bottom line, this is your only option. Second thing I've had brought up, is it worth it to upgrade to the TG36 over the T36 if you had one? Well, one, you don't really have an option because it's either send it to Tommybuilt to get the TG36 upgrade, or 2, eventually sometime down the road have the ATF secure your assets, and then you suddenly don't have a $3,000 rifle anymore. Is it asinine? Yes. Trying to look on the bright side of this. Is you are not paying $225 for a new receiver just because it's bullshit. You're paying $225 for a new receiver that has had 3 years of development time and certain quality of life upgrades. I guess if you kind of put it that way, it makes it makes the pain a little bit less. Essentially, like I said, there's a lot of reinforcement in different places in this receiver, making it more stiff. The older polymer receivers there's certain parts of the old polymer receiver that you could flex very easily. It was lightweight, but at the same time, there are certain parts that were kind of questionable. Should you buy this if you're comparing this to an AR-15 that costs $500 to $600? Obviously not. If you're one of those people that thinks that my $500 or $600 AR-15 can do everything that this gun can do, obviously you need to go buy that because you are not the target audience for this gun. People that purchase this firearm understand very well that this shoots 5.56. This probably doesn't shoot 5.56 as well as the rest of your guns. We get it. It's not the point. The point is that this is a collector's piece that you are able to shoot frequently because it's not unobtainium. You can still find replacement parts, and it's for fun. You know, this is a fun gun first and foremost. Is this a, you know, shit hits the fan, bump in the night vision on kind of gun? No, probably not. Probably not. But is this a really cool collector's piece? Absolutely. You know why? Because I have not seen another G36 out in the wild, period, outside of the, you know, the lame gun ranges in Vegas that charge you $3 a bullet for using their machine guns. With that being said, you know, if you want a TG36, I know they're about to come back on the market. I would highly, highly, highly recommend you purchase one. Tom Bostic has awesome customer service. Every time I've talked to him, it's been pretty fast turnaround with comms, and you know, he's gotten all my work requests done without any complaint. So Tom Bostic, amazing guy. Tommybuilt Tactical, amazing company. TG36, amazing gun. Like I said, if you're comparing this to an AR-15, you need to go somewhere else with that. If you're comparing this against guns that you can't get, and you're comparing this to guns of similar value, I think this is an amazing steal of a deal. If you have an old T36 receiver, like I said, you're more or less advised to send it in, but you're more or less getting forced to send it in. Just get it done. You know, once it's done, you have a legal firearm. It's not anything crazy anymore. You can go out and just enjoy your stuff like a normal person. So with that being said, been kind of rambling on for about 3.5 minutes now, so I figured we shut it off here. If you have any questions, if you want to see anything specifically, if you really like this video, because you know, I apologize, I'm doing this on my iPhone, so it's not the best quality, but I'm a one-man operation, and I just have a lot of cool shit and I want to show it off. So this is really cool. Love this gun. If you want to buy one, definitely buy one, because it's definitely worth it. And like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. See ya.